नहमदुहु व नसल्ली अला रसूलिहिल करीम अम्मा बाद फ़अऊज़ु बिल्लाहि मिनश शैतानिर रजीम बिस्मिल्लाहिर रहमानिर रहीम रब्बि इश्रह ली सदरी व यस्सिर ली अमरी वहलुल उक़दतम मिन लिसानी यफ़क़हू क़ौली रब्बि यस्सिर व ला तुअस्सिर व तम्मिम बिल खैर आमीन या रब्बल आलमीन. A quick recap before we move forward. We are working on 4 aspects of an ism, and those 4 aspects, 4 characteristics of an ism are i'rab, jins, adad, and wus'a. We are now quite familiar with the concept of i'rab, and we have worked on it quite a bit. We are going to continue to work on i'rab, and i'rab is going to be with us all the time. Jins we have covered, muzakkar and muannas. We are working on adad, which is wahid, tasniya, and jama. We know how to make tasniya from wahid. We also know how to make jam'a, because jam'a falls into the categories of salim and mukassir. We have learned how to make jam'a salim both in the case of muzakkar as well as in the case of muannas. So jam'a is jam'a muzakkar salim and jam'a muannas salim. And then we have a category of jam'a mukassir. Today the focus of our attention is going to be jam'a mukassir. So what is jam'a mukassir? Let me explain with some examples. A few new words, but don't worry, we are going to continue to repeat these new words. Although we haven't covered fail yet, but we are a little bit familiar with fail when we gave example of Nasara, Hamid helped Zaid, that sentence. So kasara yaksuru, and it is kasrun. Kasrun. Kasara is fail madi, which is past tense. This is fail mudare, which covers both present and future. And this is something which we talked about quite a while ago. It's called masdar. Masdar is basically the action which is contained in a verb. So it's the name of the action of the verb. And in English we translate it in different ways. We call this verbal noun. Sometimes it's called infinite. And gerund, that's another name, the ing form. We are inshallah going to cover this topic of masdar in detail one day. Although these are different translations, but masdar is really masdar, and none of the translations exactly fit in masdar, and basically there is no equivalent word in English which will fit in the definition of masdar, but these are the possible translations. So this is the action which is contained in a verb. So it's a name of the action. And from that we have another word. In this case we will say maksur, maksurun, kasrun and maksurun. This means broken, maksur. This is sometimes loosely translated as broken, but this is not really exactly the meaning. This doesn't have the meaning of broken. Maksurun means broken. And there is a related verb which is called kassara yukassiru, and its masdar is going to be taksir. And its similar noun is going to be mukassarun. This basically means smashed. So maksurun means broken, and there is excessiveness here of the same action of breaking, and we will really translate that as smashed. The Arabic grammar books in English, all of them which I have seen, the authors have used the word broken plural, and not the smashed plural. But I think really this means smashed. For example, if a glass is broken, we will still be able to identify that or recognize that as a glass because there may be a few lines of breakage in it, but it will be kind of intact. But when the same glass is smashed, it is difficult to recognize those pieces as glass. So in Jama Mukassar, basically we cannot identify clearly the singular word in that Mukassar word. I'll explain what I mean. There is one word which you're very familiar with, and that's Nabi, Nabiyun. Nabiyun. Nabiyun has two plurals, Salim as well as Mukassar. So Salim will be on the pattern of Nabiyuna. Nabiyuna. And its Mukassar form is Ambiya. So in Nabiyuna, we can recognize the Wahid, which is here, kind of intact. Here, we cannot really identify that Wahid. So this is kind of not exactly broken, it's kind of smashed. But broken plural is the accepted terminology. And we're going to continue to use broken plural, and better still, just call it Jama Mukassar. There's another interesting word, which is Imra'atun. Imra'atun, translated, well, that's the correct translation, woman. So one woman. And its plural is Nisa'un. So totally different, but luckily there are not many words which fall in this category. So we are okay. Most of them are going to fall in this category, Jama Mukassar. Well, some of those, but most of them will be really Jama Salim, which is much easier to work on.